Hi there, everybody. It's Chris Ann here with the Yard Card Association. I hope everybody's having a great day. I wanted to pop on here. This is very unscheduled, just a spontaneous Facebook Live, but I wanted to pop on and say hello because, well, I've had a lot on my mind. I am running around trying to do so much, as much as I can, to help you guys. And of course, we're right in the middle of all of the holiday madness is starting, right? So, before I dive into what I want to talk about today, I want to introduce you to Holly the Elf and Freddie the Elf. They have been behind the scenes working very hard and reporting back to Santa. And, I decided to go ahead and let them come out and say hello. So, give Holly and Freddie a big hello and let them know you're so glad to see them here today. They are really quite the best guests ever because they're happy with whatever I say. There's no drama. And they just are happy. And they bring candy. They brought me some really yummy Hershey's Kisses, my favorite. Okay, so I hope everybody's doing great today. And let's see. Oh, hello, Holly and Fred. Yes, thank you so much. See, somebody acknowledges you all. They're very happy to hear that because, quite frankly, they don't get out much, certainly not with the human world. And I keep them, one of these days I'll show you their home most of the year because they do like to stay here when they're not up at the North Pole. And so one of these days, I will have them and their friends and family come out because there's about 20 of them. And it's they're really busy right now. Okay, so do me a favor. I am hoping, because people are commenting, that you all can hear me. I should have started with that. I am flying solo on this, and we are live streaming to our Facebook page, our original Yard Card Business Owners Facebook group, and over on YouTube. So do me a favor, let me know where you're tuning in from. I would love to know which page you're on and also where do you live. It's always fun to see where everybody is. And some people are familiar faces, some people are new, and I just want to get to say hello to you. Hello, everybody. And they say hello as well. Okay, so we're going to dive into today's topic. Are you ready? Today, we're going to talk about Black Friday sales and, oh my, what should you do to get ready? Because there's two things you can do. You can go crazy and have lots of fun, literally spending, and buying lots of phenomenal signs. Like fantastic, beautiful work. Lots of great sales, lots of great signs. And every single vendor is so grateful for you. I want you to know that. Every customer is every vendor is very grateful for every customer, right? So that's one way you can do it. The other way you can do it is to be strategic about what you're spending. Now, that's really more about what I want to talk about. Because let's think about this. It feels really good right now when we're spending and buying this and that and the other. And oh my gosh. And you get caught up in the moment and in the excitement with the momentum, right? And you see all this great stuff. And you either know your customers are going to love it or you hope your customers are going to love it. And then December 31st, 2021 rolls around. It's the end of the year. You've just finished this year, and it's going to be time to tally up your sales and your expenses. Are you going to wish you would have more profit? When I say profit, what is profit? Profit is not just the money that your customers pay you. That's your gross revenue. The profit is taking all of the revenue and then subtracting out all of your expenses, which includes all of your inventory. And then what you have left is, what is your profit? And it's one of those things. I'm like, how many pennies are you going to have in your pocket? I want you to have more than pennies. This is super important to me. So you have two options. You can either do it with the free for all approach, the stereotypical Black Friday frenzy, except we're getting to start early, or you can have the strategic approach where you're going to feel very confident, not just you don't just get that feel good experience right when you buy something, but you feel good about it for the long term because you're doing it strategically. I know that doesn't sound nearly as much fun, but here's what I want you to think about. When you get to the end of the year, bottom line, there's no more days for this year, 2021. Is it going to feel more fun to have purchased stuff back earlier in the year or right now? Or is it going to feel even better to have more profit? Just something, there is not a right or wrong decision. It's what works best for you. That said, now is the best time of the year, of all of the year, to purchase any signs that you're going to need in the short term. When I say short term, if you think you might need signs next July, I don't recommend doing it right now. What I do recommend is doing a very thorough assessment as to what you have right now and seeing what your clear needs are. One example that I think is a really simple example would be, do you need numbers? Do you need regular size numbers? Do you need large numbers? That's something that's very versatile. Maybe you need presents and balloons, something again that's very versatile. Maybe you only have a black letter set. Shoot, you may only have one alphabet set. If you only have one alphabet set of something, you're not, unfortunately, those aren't very good, because you need more than one set to do almost anything. That's what I have learned throughout the years, is that when I'm buying something, I got to buy more than one letter set, because there's just not very many things I can spell literally with just names, just a single name. It's hard to do with just single letters, at least most of the time for me. So this is the time to look at what your needs are. Now, that also said, you probably can get away with not buying every single color of something. One of my examples I like to make is burgundy and maroon, or teal and turquoise and aquamarine. There is a point when you just need to make what you have work. And so when you've got a customer who wants that random color that really is super custom, let them know what you have in stock. And if you've got something close, that's awesome. Because when you're spending your money, these are investments. First of all, your signs are investments. You've still got to be strategic with that if you want to have more profit. And that's why I'm really here. I want you, before you buy anything else in the next couple of weeks, because I've seen some of these sales. I've seen what's coming for some of the vendors. And like I said, this is the time to be shopping strategically. Look at what you have. Look at what you think would be very versatile to add into your inventory. And then before you get caught up in the hype and the hubbub, because my gosh, I want to buy everything too, by the way. This is like most of us, right? Determine what you like. Because don't buy something just because it's on sale. See if it's going to work with your existing inventory. If you're of a certain age group, you might remember Garanimals, and it's mix and match tops and bottoms. And it was in the children's section. We need things that are more in the granimals category, where we can add the balloons and the stars and the hearts and the streamers and the whatever the other versatile things are that you like to use. We need them to work together. Now, one thing that works really well is if you have, let's say you may only have one vendor that you like to order from. That's nice and simple because their designs are probably going to work together, or that's going to be your best bet. Now, for a lot of times, people these days have more than one of their favorite vendors. And so look at what those are and how they work with your existing inventory. And then make a budget. And from that budget, then prioritize what you're willing to spend. Because if you know you need new letter sets, I'm picking on this specifically because those are a bigger ticket item. Then decide what's going to be the most versatile, or you have all the versatile stuff and now something that's more feminine. So you need something that's pink and blingy. In that case, then look at what style you like. You might like the disco look. You might like what I call just the old school bling sequin, or not sequin, glitter look. Decide what style you need or that you like, and then what vendors you like, because you might love one vendor and then you might see a sale from a different vendor that's maybe a little bit cheaper, but you really like vendor number one better. As great as a sale is, I also think it's important to shop with whom you love. And I say that because there is not a one size fits all. I think all the vendors have something special. And does that mean that you can't order presents from someone else or balloons? Of course not. There's a ton of this that you can mix and match. But if you've got one vendor that you absolutely adore, their pink glitter letter sets, then I would just say, unless you absolutely do not care, if you really have your heart set on that one vendor set, don't get caught up in the other vendor sales for letter sets. Go ahead and just support and get the one you want, because sometimes it's really just not worth the, let's say it's the $10 savings, $20 savings to get what you want if you're making that investment. And it does depend on what you're getting as well, but I'm using that as a general example to try to get your juices flowing. What I recommend doing, you should know to at least some extent what your inventory is, right? If you don't, I've got another training that's going to be coming up about getting organized. Okay. But this is not what I keep my inventory on, but when you're deciding on how to make your budget, make a list. Literally get out your pen and paper or open up a Google Doc or a Google Sheet and literally write out, okay, here is what you would like to add. When it comes to, I'm going to give you one little tip. When it comes to the holidays, this will be over really soon. I would not be purchasing holiday items or specifically Christmas items in, let's say, December 10th and on. Personally, I fully believe, depending on where you live, that you need to have your Christmas items ready, certainly by December 1st. And depending on your area, I know around me, people are ready. These elves are coming. These elves are coming back here next week. And so you might need to just get your Christmas stuff in now, which is what I really recommend, because then you have more time to work with it. If it comes down to, December 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, you're really missing the window. And it is probably a better strategy to just wait until next year to get any more Christmas items in. Unless it's for personal use. And personal use, that's a totally different topic, right? If we're using it just for ourselves, that's a little bit different. So when it comes to your budget, this doesn't have to be down to the penny. What you need to do is look at what you have to spend. I am not a believer and I don't really endorse going into debt. At the very beginning, if you really have no inventory, you're going to have some sort of startup expenses, right? But once you've been in business, if the only reason you need to put something on a credit card is because you've overbought inventory, it's time to sell some inventory. So it's like, at least when my kids were little, I tried to do this, that when new toys would come in, old toys had to go out because there's just only so much. And yes, is there good stuff that you might need to part with? Of course. But at the end of the day, you probably can find some things that you aren't really using as much as you would like to be using. That's just something to think about. Unless you have stuff already pre-sold, I am just use the money, your operating money that you have. And I know a lot of people are saying, oh, sure, that's easier said than done. But I want you to think about something. At some point, you have to start operating without your credit card. And I know people that are in over their heads. They're $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in debt for this business. That's a hard hole to crawl out of. And I don't want anybody here ending up in that situation, because then you can feel desperate and go, what can I do? What can I do? Maybe I need to buy more inventory in order to make more sales. No. We're going to work smarter, not harder, and work with what you have. But this is part of why it's important to have a budget. So if you're in that category and you're $30,000 in the hole, please do not buy any more inventory. You know, whatever your level is. And if you've got that little mouse that kind of whispers into your ear that says, maybe you shouldn't make this purchase, even though it feels good, listen. Okay. So, and this may sound like a stretch to say this, but I fully believe, in fact, I know the vendors that I know also agree. They don't want you going in massive debt that it's going to be really hard to recover from. Do they want to make the sales? Of course they want to make the sales. We all want to make the sales, right? But none of us want to see businesses die and families really struggle because of those business decisions, right? We would rather everybody succeed. And so, think about that. But when you're doing that budget, you can always spend more, right? It's so easy to do that. So just be strategic. You might say that, you want to get something specific in that you've been lacking, right? So we just had one of the sets I see a lot of people needing is patriotic, because we have a number of patriotic holidays throughout the year. Now, that doesn't mean go out and get everything super specific for Memorial Day or 4th of July. I am not a fan of super specific dated holidays. You might want a little bit of it, but certainly don't go overboard. But something like patriotic, red, white, blue, God bless America. That's something that is going to be used over and over and over. And a number of people, and that includes myself, we need some new stuff. So this is a great time to look at those sales, because it's going to probably be a better price now than it will be, I don't know when. So that's something I want you to think about. Again, it could be the pink stuff. It could, and I say pink because, not everybody is all into the glitter. Not everybody is all into just bright colors. And I will always say, I think that there needs to be the versatile, where you've got something that's bright, primary, multicolor, and then you need something that's girly and feminine. Now, from there, that's when it's good to be strategic with your colors. I am not a fan of spending money just to go get another color because it feels good. Now, when it comes to, certain themes, or certain themes that are super popular, the social media stuff. Social media is really popular for a certain demographic. Gaming sets. If you don't have a few pieces of gaming pieces, a few gaming pieces in your inventory. Those are really popular. There are certain things when you think of that aren't going to go out of style. Now, as hard as this is to believe, TikTok will be out of style at some point, but right now it's going strong. So I don't think that that's a bad investment whatsoever. But think about what you're going to spend money on and spend that budget. I can't tell you how much to spend or what to set your budget at, but make a priority with your money with it. And then look at the sales that are already posted. And some of the vendors are telling you, hey, I'm making this stuff up in my head. I'm not thinking of one particular vendor. On Friday, their sale is going to start and it's going to be X% off, or it's going to be a BOGO, or whatever the sale is. Study the sales, study the vendors, look at their information, look at their product designs, and then you will be more prepared. You'll have a plan. And some of these sales have already started. And some of this, I know you're going to have to just wait and see what the sales are. With that, I don't want you to overthink this and get super stressed about it. Because at the end of the day, if you come up on December 31st and you're like, oh my gosh, I wish I would have ordered XYZ, it's not the end of the world. I promise you that. So if you miss a sale, I know it's disappointing. If you buy ahead of time and then you're like, oh my gosh, now this stuff went on sale and it's $10 cheaper, it's okay. It's okay. We all have to make great decisions, right? We have to make our best decisions and go forward. Now think about this from your own business standpoint. If you have a sale and you had a customer that booked and missed the sale, it's the same thing. You want them to still be okay with the fact that they missed the sale. So look at the vendor sales that are already posted. Some of them are starting on certain dates. Some of them are already happening right now. And before you jump in on the sales, make your plan. Now, somebody was telling me about their personal Black Friday experiences, and I have a number of friends that do this. Regardless of COVID, I'm not going to even go into like whatever it was last year. They will get the sales ads from and Macy's and the outlet mall and where else am I missing? Oh, Walmart, all of the stores, Target, from all of the stores, and they will make a plan. They will literally write out what their plan is going to be based on those ads, what they're going to get where, and when they're going to hit up each of these stores. And at least around here, it's like a fun, specifically for the ladies, whether it's girlfriends, whether it's sisters, moms, and daughters, they get together and it's fun to do. But they like to map it out. And so they can't just wait until the ad drops and go, oh, I guess we gotta do this right now in 30 minutes. Well, let's just wing it. So I thought that was a great example of, okay, well, let's put our plan in place and let's write out all the different places. And in my case, I'm trying to say, I don't have all the vendors listed right here yet, but look at the list. Look at your list. I am coming out with a list. Don't worry. We're going to have our vendor holiday list. And so that's something that hopefully those are available with a couple of other people already. So look at those, but don't get super caught up in it. If you've got your favorite vendors, don't worry about the others. Just focus on those. If you know that you only shop with 2 different vendors, there's your 2 vendors. If you like to look at the others, absolutely. There's some phenomenal vendors out here. We are very blessed to have the vendors that we do. And I say that I've been doing this a long time. And I tell you what, I absolutely am so honored to see where our old school vendors, they kept us going and just so exceptional. And now we have new people with new designs and new ways of doing things. And I am just wowed at all of it. And so with that said, I get back to my original point here. Have a strategy. I just want you to have a strategy. And don't forget, that every dollar you spend is a dollar away from your own profit, right? That's just something that I want you to take home. I am seeing people go out of business left and right. And a lot of, sometimes there's different reasons. What I'm seeing is inventory gets sold for pennies on the dollar because they bought too much inventory. And unfortunately, they spent so much money on inventory, all the money that they did make went back into inventory. Or they have other issues. Just because you buy inventory, right? We know this, it's not the field of dreams. Just because you have inventory doesn't mean you're going to make six figures next month. And so I just really, really want you to have the most profit you can in an ethical way at the end of December. We've got about 6 to 7 weeks left, if that. I think about 6 weeks left, actually. And time is ticking. So today we're talking about your budget, right? And I want you to have a budget. And there's great sales already going on and planned. If you've got your budget and a strategy in place, I think you're going to feel better about it in the long run. And, I know I have vendors that watch this, and I love you all. And I think you all will agree with me about wanting people to make smart decisions because we want everybody to stay in business. And that's good for everybody in the long run, right? So, with that said, I'm going to wrap it up, but I want to say one more thing real quick. Do you have your own holiday promotions ready for your own audience? I want to make sure that you at least have just some social media posts, whether you're going to run a holiday ad or not, or any sort of promotion, at least have a couple of holiday graphics ready to go so that you can send warm wishes to your audience. And promote some of your local businesses. We have Small Business Saturday coming up a week from this Saturday, and it is really, really powerful to get together with your fellow small businesses and support each other. That could be literally something small, like sharing the local businesses that you like with your social media audience. So I encourage you to do that. Think about that. Don't just get caught up in these sales. But if you are going to buy inventory, this is the smartest time to do it, in my opinion. There will be other sales. The vendors have other sales throughout the years. And so don't get too caught up on that either. But when you are buying something, I want you to feel good about it a month from now. Okay. On December 31st, will you feel like, oh my gosh, I spent $5,000 more in inventory over the past month than I planned to? I don't want you to have that icky feeling. I want you to have that good, strong, proud of yourself feeling. All right. So I hope that's helpful. And if you've got any questions or other comments, I'll be checking those below later. If you're listening to this on the podcast, don't worry, just head on over to our Facebook page and you can read the comments over there. So I want to thank everybody so much for being here. I really appreciate your support, and be on the lookout for some Yard Card Association specials coming up very, very soon. All right. Thanks so much for being here, everybody. I will see you soon. And let's say thanks from Holly and Freddie. Take care, everybody. Cheers.